Alright, let's finally take a look at a figure that I have a bit of a controversial opinion on. It's Studio Series 86 Wreck-Gar. Now, I'm not going to beat around the bush with this one. It's clearly based off of the 1986 Transformers movie where he and a bunch of Junkions debuted and are probably going to get repaints of later on. So let's just dive in. Straight off the bat with accessories. First off, he comes with this rotating blade weapon. It's kind of dumb looking, but it spins. And then the two tires, which in the movie they kind of did whatever with. Sometimes shield, sometimes kibble, sometimes not there at all. And they just kind of peg onto the side of the arm and leg. So then how's the robot mode? Accurate. That's really the best compliment I can give it. It looks near perfect to the on-screen counterpart and is a perfect modern Chug version of that design. But while it may look good just standing there, this figure is a proportional mess. Something about the legs and groin are just off. Whether the brown section is too large, the thighs are too low, torso too wide, or arms too long, something is off visually and it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, well,
Now,
you're just
besides that,
biased and
colors are
nitpicky.
fine. They aren't quite spot on, but that's a benefit. Not everything has to be accurate to an awful cartoon, which wasn't even accurate to itself. And the design on its own is fine. Head sculpt is amazing, absolutely no problems, and the plastic, while fine on its own, feels super squishy. It's the same material SS86 Blur was made out of, almost a soft rubber, but not quite SS Shockwave levels. But really, it's the proportions that are jarring to me. I wish I could explain why, but it just never looks cool. And I really wish articulation could hinder my issues with the proportions, but it actually makes it worse somehow. He has every joint you could want: ankle tilt, waist swivel, backwards butterfly. It's about an average figure, a little bit above. But then you get to the ab crunch, and you might think, wow, a Transformers figure with an ab joint. That must be amazing. And it's just not. So, ab crunches. Well, they crunch the abs. It's a method to look down or lean forward, so it's most beneficial to have it mid-torso. Wreck-Gar, however, decided to go the worst possible route and make it a waist crunch. So not only does it make it look really bad, the panel it sits on sticks out, making the torso look way longer than it already was, and the waist swivel is almost completely useless because of it. All so you can have him lean over in the ugliest way possible.
Well, it's
Alright,
better
let's
than no
calm
ab
down a
crunch.
tiny bit
Whiny
after that and
baby.
talk about size comparisons. Really solid. He looks fantastic standing next to some other figures from the 86 movie. And the transformation is pretty solid. It's not anything special, but it's an average Chug transformation. It takes the idea of Wreck-Gar's transformation and actually makes it workable. Even though the wheels do parts for him, but hey, it's whatever. And the motorcycle is actually really cool. This is the one really solid aspect of the figure. It looks so nice. And while it won't scale next to the other cars, it does scale with robot modes, letting you have any bot ride him off into the sunset. But I still have some issues. There are some gaps here and there, and the legs really didn't go anywhere, but they didn't go anywhere on the original design, so I can't really complain. Overall, a really solid bike mode. So, overall, how do I rate Wreck-Gar? I think it's up to personal preference. If the proportions look good to you, go for it. If you don't mind the waist crunch, go for it. Same with the gaps in the motorcycle mode. But those are major issues, especially when SS86 produces the likes of Hot Rod and Grimlock, and Kingdom makes Cyclonus and Megatron. To me, that's inexcusable. So I'd say he rides in about a 6.5 out of 10. I wish I could like this figure, especially since I like Wreck-Gar, but I just can't. Thanks for watching.